Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Liam Rose. I'm an author, mentor, life coach, motivational speaker, evangelist, musician, and activist. In Spiritually Helping Other People podcast, we're going to be sharing a message for the podcast. I've been sharing this Spiritually Helping Other People podcast to inspire humanity to learn about Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Buddha. I've been sharing the Spiritually Helping Other People podcast to inspire humanity to learn about faith, spirituality, faith, and religion. I've been sharing the Spiritually Helping Other People podcast to inspire humanity to learn about helping other people, giving back, making a difference. Now, within this podcast and audio, we're going to be talking about spiritual timelessness. So this is a very important topic to talk about, and I'm going to try and share as best as I can. So spiritual timelessness is a spiritual state within your psyche and your psychological mind. When you go through spiritual timelessness, you discover that there's no time. All it is the pure essence of who you are. So the spiritual timelessness can be achieved through the 5 spiritual practices: prayer, meditation, mindfulness, walk, and journaling. If you do the 5 spiritual practices, you'll attain timelessness, which is basically a change within the psyche and the psychological mind. Spiritual timelessness is also the no self, selflessness, and know thyself. Because as human beings, we live in a body and we can never see our facial expressions or our body unless we look in a mirror. So if you look past the physical side of a human being, like the physical side of a human, you can see there's a spiritual timelessness, there's an eternal energy and eternal essence of who we are. So the physical body is not the real essence of reality, it's the spiritual side of your life, the faithful side, the spiritual side, the religious side. Now, spiritual timelessness is very important also in helping other people, giving back, making a difference. So there's 5 levels of helping other people. Level 1, volunteering, the good level in helping other people. Level 2, jobs, careers, employments, the great level in helping other people. Level 3, business, entrepreneurship, the highest level in helping other people. Level 4, faith and spiritual, the spiritual levels in helping other people. And level 5, spiritually helping other people, who helping other people, the teaching levels in helping other people. Now, once we overcome the self, which is something very important to do. So the self is where the suffering, pain, and adversities come from, right? So once we go on a spiritual life journey of the self to the no self, right? Then we reach spiritual timelessness, which is a spiritual state within our human being. So it's not the physical side of who we are, it's the spiritual side. Now, the 5 levels of helping other people is something that you do once you do the 5 spiritual practices. So, once you spiritually change as a human being, you find the spiritual timelessness within life. So there's no more time, there's no more self, there's no more suffering, there's no more pain, there's no more adversity. All there is the present moment within life, and how you're living. Then you do the 5 levels of helping other people, and that's how you live a spiritual timelessness legacy of spiritual legacy, right? So your spiritual legacy goes on in time, but in the world of the spirituality and the faith and the faith, spirituality and religion, everything is in a spiritual way. So Jehovah, Jesus Christ, and Buddha basically wants us to be spiritual, faithful, and truthful. So by doing the 5 spiritual practices, prayer, meditation, mindfulness, walking, journaling, then the 5 levels of helping other people: level 1, volunteering; level 2, jobs, careers, employment; level 3, business, entrepreneurship; level 4, faith and spiritual; level 5, spiritually helping other people who helping other people. You can go into a spiritual timelessness realm, right? Which is basically how you live your spiritual legacy now through spiritual change. Now, spiritual change becomes the most important thing in life. We need to spiritually change as a human being to discover who we are. So the know self, selflessness, and know thyself is a spiritual change of the psyche and the psychological mind. If your psyche and your psychological mind changes, which is the spirituality, faith, fate, and religion of your life, then your whole life changes. Then you start to see things beyond time. You can go into the spiritual realm and see the future. You will know who you are as a human being, your your skills, your talents and abilities, your qualities, your characteristics, your personality, mentalities. And you will discover the spiritual change of the know self, selflessness, and know thyself. Now, Jesus Christ, Jehovah, and Buddha wants us to actually achieve the know self, selflessness, and know thyself within our lives, and do the 5 levels of helping other people and the 5 spiritual practices. Now, life is always moving into the future, so our life is very precious. How we live our life is very important. What we do day to day is very important. So if you want to end suffering, end pain, adversities and challenges and difficulties within your life, and life problems and life situations, and basically help other people on your spiritual life journey, then it's important to realize you need to do the 5 spiritual practices, go for a spiritual change, and then once you go for a spiritual change, you discover the know self, selflessness, and know thyself. And the spiritual change is a change within the psyche and the psychological mind. Once your psyche and psychological mind changes, then your whole human being changes, and that's when the spiritual timelessness becomes a reality within life. So it's so important, like I've always said in my messages, my audios, my books, and my videos, to basically go through a spiritual change. Without the spiritual change, you're unable to help other people, and you're unable to achieve spiritual enlightenment or spiritual awakening. So the spiritual change becomes the most important thing. So what is the spiritual timelessness state? It's a state of spiritual energy, spiritual truth, spiritual nature, which is a natural thing that all human beings have. It's just sometimes in life we have to discover it in our lives to find it and find who we really are. So I encourage the listeners and the people that are watching this podcast and audio. The spiritual timelessness state is very important, which is the ending of suffering, pain, and adversity. The only way you can reach the spiritual timelessness state is when you do the 5 spiritual practices. And then once you've done the 5 spiritual practices and spiritually change your psyche and your psychological mind, then do the 5 levels of helping other people. And then all the work you do in life will be focused will be focused on contributions to helping other people, giving back and making a difference. And that will be timeless, so there'll be no time to how many people you help. Your spiritual legacy will live on now within life, and you'll be able to do exactly what Jehovah, Jesus Christ, Buddha has called you to do. So thank you for listening to the podcast and audio. I hope you do reach that spiritual timelessness state through the 5 spiritual practices and through 5 levels of helping other people. And as always, thank you for listening. And just remember, there is an ending of suffering, pain, and adversity, but you must spiritually change yourself before you can discover the know self, selflessness, and know thyself. So thank you now. Have a good day now. Bye now. Thanks. Goodbye. Thanks.